More Dragon Maid episode of 5. We had a really cute, sweet time last episode. First of all, actually, before that all happened, we got some more Elma focus, which was nice. But we did some fun stuff where we actually mixed a lot of interaction and things between multiple characters at different points, having Kobayashi and Elma, and then like Elma and Toru, and then we were able to have like groups and section people off in a way when we go to the amusement park a little bit later, which I think worked itself out to be really nice. It allowed for some of the characters who don't get as much screen time, who I would like to see a little bit more. And while they're not the mains, so you have to kind of understand that it's not designed for them to. It worked really well to give everybody like the appropriate amount of time I think that they needed. Also, Georgie had a large inclusion too, which I absolutely adore her. So that just worked itself out to be really, really nice. Plus, Kobayashi got to learn a lot about enjoying things in the presence of like kind of being with others, as opposed to just hating on things that you either one haven't tried or two have tried alone, versus being with others and experiencing it like that. Everything in life, not everything, but most things, a lot of things are better when you can experience it with others, especially if you're really close to them and you care for them. It just makes those experiences so much more, and those memories will be things that you kind of remember for a long time. So hopefully we can continue to get some more development on her part, opening up more and more to the dragons and the stuff of the other world, which is nice too, because it continues to evolve that main idea that these people aren't as bad as as put into their head when they are within their own world. So we continue to develop that, which is really beautiful for us to get and see. I am excited to see what more we have. I hope you guys enjoy. If you like it all, the like and subscribe announcement, feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave me comments. But this is a better series. This is a timer reaction. A little unfortunate for some of us. Some of us like them. Some of us don't. But it's what it is. It makes my job easier. Editing so much easier on these. I don't even gotta watch these things back. I just throw that thing in the render and call it a day. It's easy. Anyways, we have no sponsorships or advertisements or company producer tags, logo type of things that kind of appear, branding stuff that appears before the episode of the version that I am watching. So if you would like to sync up along with me, be aware of that if your version has any. If it doesn't, you're good to go. There's also a picture-in-picture version, a link in the description if you'd like to check that out. Most of you guys probably end up checking that out, but we got to provide it both ways. You can do what you want. If you watch that version, all I ask is that you come back and just either leave a like or a comment, or do something, get some engagement up for me, because watch time is going to be in the drains if you're using that one instead, So it'd be nice to get some help here. I'll count down from 3 and on go. We will go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh boy. Yeah. Unless they were like real good friends before then. Oh. Even now, to be fair. Okay, so all from the OP. Backstory. Love that. My assumption was they were going to go on like some insane thing was going to happen, and they were going to get like teleported or something like elsewhere. They were going to have to like work their way all the way back. I guess that wouldn't make sense though, huh? Because they could just fly. Yeah, I don't know. She had long hair too. Hmm. That's a fun little detail to add. It's kind of hard when they're probably getting attacked. Seek for salvation through them. Oh, dragon. Look at that look. She's what we call a scam artist. So you know. So if you can, okay, right. You lazy ordered. What a striker attack any of the humans to begin with. Ah, sure. We going on a trip. Let's see if you really about what you say. How did that like very stern, like serious person turn into this goofy girl? Hmm. I guess. Fair. That makes sense. Jeez. So the downsides and the negatives of it, although it likely wasn't intended to be. I really like the way they're drawing her here. On Okay, so it was always there. It was always there in a way. Okay. We a dragon, but we still throwing hands. Oh, that's so good. The dark and like thick outlines to it really make them stand out. Awesome. Until she decided to show back up. Sure, you didn't have a little crush on her or something along those lines? At least they haven't gone as violent as they were in the past, you know? Still looking out for each other, for being honest. That's sweet. We gotta get you a hobby or something. Did she go to school or is she gonna be too old for that? Right, right. Most another 100 years. This is hard work here. We already got another dragon there. Okay, nice. Go walking around here. You have a good side, but no, she does too, though. Yeah, so maybe not something with food. Okay. What? That's fair, yeah. Some. Could she take care of kids? I mean, she kind of is one, but I don't think she's gonna want to like beat them or eat them or something. You don't have urges to eat when you're here or just play. Nice. Matching. Something like that. Oh, perfect. Get her in, do all the heavy work. Hmm. Sorry, we don't make enough money for that. That's a good way to get it across without giving it age. Hmm. Shit, you don't even gotta pay her if we're being honest. Well, thank you. Some confidence. You got this. And even if you don't end up liking it, at least you tried something, you know? Don't be like her. How many times are you gonna do this? Ah, nice person to introduce. All right, or nice way to introduce somebody. who, who, who the hell's built like that? That's a woman. Protected his grandma. Yo, holy fuck! Now it's making sense. Here. Well, I wish there was to tell you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Surprised you had time to stop her. Turn around or something, buddy? I don't know what to tell you. Right, different culture. To be fair, it's like 45% of you. I'll be lazing around what you usually do in the back. And enigma was a great, great way to put it. She's good with, well, little kids at least, but good with people. Classic. Now let's. She did not lie. I don't really think about it. That's crazy. You really are a pervert. And she doesn't brush him off. Just embraces it. Right, there you go. She just wanted to make sure you're okay first. Come on, dude. You can tell. Hmm. Just a grown child. You're right. Tara really got replaced. Yeah. That's a fun way to put it. A very sweet episode. At least the back end. But I guess we could realistically state that with the first half and the backstory being developed between Elma and Toro, which was really nice. It's fun to be able to get a glimpse into their own world. It's something that I do wish that we've gotten a little more of. And while that's maybe not necessarily the primary focus of the story, and even you get that vibe, I guess, throughout this episode too, where it doesn't the flashes kind of like between these different moments as opposed to like full on focus of it and their understanding of each other, it doesn't come off to me as like this was all intended really, if that makes sense. To me it more so just comes off as this is something that we were just kind of trying to make up on the go. And we came to terms with like, let's make it this sort of way, which like isn't a problem necessarily, but it just more so highlights like maybe not as much importance for us to like place into it. But it was still sweet nonetheless, being able to get and understand their development, but understanding them as people, I guess, a little bit more. Feeling a certain way towards humans and being consistently brought up to feel a certain way towards them has been like a constant plot point within all the dragons brought within this world. So going back to a time where none of them had that sort of importance of having humans within their world or in their lives, go back to a moment of time where that was relevant, I think is really fun to see. The idea that they actually still deep down realistically had a care or a curiosity at least into befriending and being one another with the people on this side. It would only make enough sense. Toru has the, it's not, I wanted to say tsundere, but it's not. I don't know the exact terminology, I guess, that we'd go with, where she consistently is acting like she thinks she's tough. Basically, she acts like she's a certain type of way and feels a certain type of way towards things, but deep down she doesn't necessarily have that sort of feeling. Of course, Kobayashi is the one who like full on like breaks through and does all of this, but was her anger and her destroying of the village and everything actually to kind of just in spite of like Elma and her anger towards her and like not being happy with her, or was it more of to free these people from this potential scam, I guess, that we could say that she was putting on here for them, and how she was using them? Like, did she intend it that way? Was it a mixture of maybe that and her feelings towards like wanting Elma to not go down the path that she was and actually caring for her and not being the way that she's almost displayed herself to be to this point too? There's like a variety of things I think like that my mind immediately goes to, of like, how much did these people actually care or show a willingness to coexist with another race? Their feelings towards that, I think, is fun to see, especially from the start. And even on Elma's end, you get to see that as well. Like, these are still people who consistently get brought up a type of way, but to be able to take on a role, well, of course, it benefits you because she got all the luxuries of the food and everything else that realistically she wanted. You could still help people at the end of the day and grant them some stuff that they realistically wouldn't have been able to get and that they had been hoping for basically their entire lives so that their livelihoods could be better. And you have potential abilities to make those things occur, or at least give them that faith or that person to directly point their belief in. So maybe that they could be grateful for another day and give them that fighting hope to live another day, I think is really sweet stuff. Like, it's awesome to be able to see that there's potential. Like, it doesn't have to be either. That's the fun thing, right? Is like, it could be very like straightforward of like I only did this because I'm a glutton or whatever, right? Like, we could go down that route. And same thing with like Toru, I only did this because I don't fuck with you and I don't want you to be happy or like get all these things, right? Like, you can just make it as simple as that. But there definitely, it can also be underlying things that we can read into within this, and it might be going too far and not original intention. But even at the same time, if it was intended, it's really fun to at least explore that, I think, a little bit. And I just like that, being able to expand on the fact that they are people who do really care for one another, do care even for the other races and stuff, and show a ability to be open-minded enough to potentially want to kind of coexist in a peaceful manner, which is wonderful. And at the same time, they go through their own little quarrels that they get through, and they eventually get into the fight consistently, but still show a care for each other, which is what those little hints that we consistently get after we get like the primary story of the little moments of, here, let me throw this your way and make sure that you're well fed. You know, let me make sure that I still will wish upon like a great thing and success and just good things within your life going forward. It just shows like a sweet side, I think, between the two of them, and it does make like that. It makes it like that you know, you're younger and you like bully the person that you like type of attitude. That's kind of what we get, you know, out of these two. And it's those fights and those altercations and everything that they have between each other that lets them consistently grow closer and bond with one another. It's something that you see a lot within anime where there's like fighting and things too, where people talk about that. I mean, and I guess it is a real sort of thing where people have issues and then they're able to work out their anger through physical altercation. But through that, you're able to understand a lot more emotion with the type of way that they're able to hit and the way that they fight and a variety of those sort of attributes. And they lead you directly into like maybe even becoming really good friends or close with the person or not having that sort of negative thoughts, I guess, towards them either, and just feeling a little bit more positive on them as a, whether it's a person or just whatever. Maybe sometimes you don't come out of it that way, you know, sometimes you come out of it still hating them, or sometimes you come out of it neutral, but it's those experiences and stuff that allows you to bond a little bit more and get closer, which is really, really sweet. So I do decently like that we end up getting it. The cutting like between just at like random moments, having it be like the little skit like after an actual like chapter, I guess that we'll call it, which they've consistently done throughout this show, is something that works because of that. I do think I would have preferred it all to be directly into one instead of being as disjointed as it kind of was, but that is just a personal thing at the end of the day. So it doesn't necessarily bother me, and at least it makes sense because it's all within a single episode. It's different than if they just start doing random ones like that, like 8 episodes in or something, you know, like later past this. So I'm plenty okay with it, I guess. Also, I really love Elma's design. This is the first time, this is one of the first times at least. I'm a person, I've openly stated this many times, I really love short hair. I think it looks great on literally every girl ever. And this is like one of, if not the only time I could really recall where they've changed a character who has had it and given them longer hair. And I think it just suits them and looks even better. They look even better with it. Almost absolutely stunning throughout this. The overall lighting and different like slight changes to the art style that they were doing throughout those backstories was really special. Like it looked extremely good, and it elevated even Toro as well to levels that I hadn't really felt like too familiar within this. And it works well because it definitely separates your own feelings from this is what, you know, it should look like to this is, or like this is what it looks like within our present story, this is what it looks like here, you know. And it allows you to kind of detach from where you are right now and put you into like an immersion of the past. So it worked itself out really nice. The overall animation on the dragon fighting section is really fucking excellent. It's hard a lot of times to make absolutely like huge creatures go into fighting and either not make it look completely goofy, or not make it look goofy utilizing CG, or just not make it look kind of unthreatening, I guess, in a way with CG. That's typically a complaint a lot of the times I have with it, where they utilize it because of course it'd be easier for them to make it a production with it, but the enemy type that you're going against typically looks a lot less threatening to me when you do it, because they don't blend as well with all the other characters that are drawn within the series. So being able to have both of them move as fluid as they did and look as strong and kind of threatening as they did, it's fucking awesome. It looked amazing. It was extremely fluid. The outlines, like the thicker black outlines and shading, especially to a lot of, or to both of them, made it look super good too, and it made them pop a little bit more and stand out directly from like the background that they were in. It's probably my favorite fighting sequence throughout the entire show, or I guess just action sequence, I should say, up to this point, which is awesome. It's a praise that I had from episode 1, where I said that the animation alone in that episode looked stronger than I remembered anything in the previous season to be. So it's nice to see, even, you know, 2 seasons in, that we're still getting some good treatment, as typically a lot of shows will lose some budget or lose some staff or lose something along the lines of that as the seasons begin to progress. So it's nice. And also because like as something comes out like after one time and it comes out for another season, typically there probably would be more of a push from like a production company or like somebody like a little bit higher up to get this thing out quicker, because you're trying to milk it for as much as you can while the name's still a little bit hot, instead of letting things die down. So being able to still get as strong, if not a better quality production, especially throughout only a couple episodes up to this point, but so far throughout the season, has been really wonderful. The entire next half of the episode fully revolves around Lulu and her wanting to go out of her way and get a job. Well, forcefully like putting her in that sort of scenario, but her wanting to feel useful and actually enjoy the thing that she's doing, as opposed to just putting herself in a position where she's not going to like what she's doing and then she's going to hate being here even more. And I think overall it just turns out to be awesome. It's extremely wholesome the whole time throughout. It elevates her character to be really enjoyable to see, and she's becoming quickly one of my favorites now throughout this. And it's not something that I felt like I would enjoy because I don't particularly love, like, say, her design or anything that was presented within like the first episode that we really got her. So it's a nice kind of turn on her character throughout the past couple episodes that's making me really love her whenever she's on screen and excited for the different interactions and moments that she's going to have. But it was awesome just to go and find a place that would work for her. I assumed like a teacher or something, not a teacher, but like looking over kids, like daycare or something, could be really, really good for her, as she just seemingly wants to kind of play with kids and look after them. And she likes being surrounded by them. So I figured that it would be a good thing, especially when we go to the market and she was just like, oh, this gives me like cravings and all this. And I just can't, I wouldn't be able to work around this. So you'd assume that she'd get it with candy too, but it might have just been the meat that was doing it. Regardless, she's able to find a place working in this candy shop, being able to ask for a job on the spot too, which is awesome from her, and be able to go out of her way to hopefully find something that she believes that she could be useful in and enjoy herself in. And I love it. I think it was really sweet, her willingness to help all the kids, of course, that come in. It makes her feel like a kid while she's in there too, so she doesn't necessarily have to feel overly grown up. And it's nothing that's like too complex. She can be of more use to the owner as well, as she is injured and older too. So I think it's just a excellent job all around. Her lack of kind of social ability in a way, or her inability to kind of know like where to draw the line and stop talking about certain subjects and things, and who to not bring it up with, read the room a little bit, is still yet to be seen. But she's getting there. She hasn't been here too long and interacted with people too much. She's got to learn the ways of the world, the norms still. But it made for some great moments with her talking to the little girl, and even with Take coming in at the end of the episode and him being kind of the one who's supposed to oversee her and all the things she did. The interactions between them was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I loved how he was like, I gotta set this dude straight, like thinking that like some dude was gonna come and take advantage of his grandma or do something. It just turned out to be like a sweet girl. It was fun, and I mean, he seemed pretty sweet from what we got, and I like the interactions between them. I thought that they were all really funny. It's just her not being aware of this and of anything within this world, and him more so viewing it as like a culture kind of difference between them, not knowing exactly where she's from either, is extremely fun. Just trying to like change in front of him but not realizing it, and then her deadpan kind of reactions to things, not really typically what you would expect in a way, but still calling him out and calling him names and stuff, and like kind of joking around with him a little bit more dry in a way, really works itself out to be nice. It's super fun. And because of course he's going to be even caught more off guard by it, not thinking that she's going to say something, and she doesn't seem as bothered by it when she's calling him these names, as you typically would expect, like not having the reaction that you would think. So it's going to hit even more for him. So I think it worked out great, but really sweet at the end too, of him being like, I'll show you all this stuff, and giving her the opportunity to have to play a little bit too, even after the shift that has ended, which is great. So hopefully we get a little bit more between him. I think their dynamic's been really fun throughout this episode. So hopefully there's a little bit more on that, and I'm just very excited for potentially more. I'm really enjoying her character a ton, so hopefully some more good stuff. It's going to be all I got on the episode. I thought it was really great. It's always good to get some more Elma moments because, like I've consistently keep saying, she's still a little underutilized in my mind, so I would love to get a little bit more of her. And I really also do enjoy the fact that we got a lot more Lulu moments that are extremely wholesome and sweet, and even bringing in a new character that works really well and has a good dynamic with her, potentially for more in the future. Maybe not even, maybe just this episode, but regardless, I think it's great, and we got to expand on her a little bit more, allow her to feel like she's being a little bit more useful, and I feel like she's doing something and not just lazing around and freeloading off of all these people. And they also might not have to feel that sort of way anymore because she's not Kana, she can't go to school, so we gotta do something else for her. So it's really good. I hope you guys enjoyed though. If you like it, all like and subscribe. Now it's my feel free to check out the channel and comments if there's a series. I'll be back next week for episode 6. I hope you guys have a great one though. Peace.